Hello, hello, hello. Have you ever had a humbling experience? You probably have. You could probably think of a few where maybe life didn't work out so nicely, or something happened, and you were put back into your place. There's, everyone has something like that. And if you haven't had something like that, you will, because everyone does. And I want to talk about one of the earliest times that I was ever humbled in life. And I think this is a very common experience among people. I want to talk about being humbled in school. One of the most common things that has happened to many of people that I know of. Pissing your pants at school. Alright, stop laughing. Stop laughing. I know. It's a funny thing to laugh at later in life, just like, damn, you really pissed your pants at school? Yeah. And it wasn't even like, oh, in the nurse's office or at recess. No. It was so much worse than that. This story starts in the 2nd grade. And this starts in the morning with my regular routines. Now, am I a neurodivergent person? Probably. Is that confirmed? No, it's not. But it's fine. We're all fine. We're all living just fine here. And so, I had a very specific routine that I stuck to. And my routine was, I got up in the morning, I ate my breakfast of cereal, I watched whatever cartoons were put on, I got on the bus, I went to school, walked to my classroom, area whatever, because that was the room numbers, area. I don't know why, but it was. And I started out with all my morning bell work, is what my teacher called it. I can't really remember what it was. It was probably mostly math problems, because I was good at math, and I was always the first kid finished. And I'm not like second kid, second or third. I was the first. 9 times out of 10, like 19 times out of 20, I was the first kid finished with my bell work, and if I wasn't, I was going to be the second. And so every morning, in the elementary classrooms, the first graders, the kindergartners, and most of the second graders, the bathrooms were just right built into the classroom. And that's how it was for pretty much everybody, except for my room. My room was meant for 3rd graders, but there was a lot of us in my year. So they had to resort to using one room for all the 2nd graders for one class, and that was my class. So my teacher had a system where if you had to go to the bathroom, all you had to do was raise up your fist high in there. Not like raise your hand, but your fist specifically. And then she would let you go to the bathroom, or one of the other teacher helpers, because we were a larger class, and so that meant there had to be a few extra teachers, which was pretty normal in elementary. But that was my routine. Every single morning, I would finish my bell work, I would go sit in the most comfortable chair to go read whatever book that I probably was not reading. And I would immediately raise my fist and go to the bathroom. And that's what I did every single morning for a year. And so, as you can imagine, next year, 3rd grade, this is where disaster strikes. I have 2 new teachers, one who was the actual teacher and the other who was the helper. And we're going to be talking about the helper, the assistant, Mrs. Smith. She was an old, mean lady. I mean, she wasn't exactly mean, but she was grumpy. You know, like, the old ladies who, like, they'll help you, they'll point you in the right place for sure, but they're gonna make sure you feel terrible afterwards. That was her. Don't know how people like these end up in childcare, but maybe my mind's just twisting it because of this story. Who knows? But all I know is that we no longer had morning bell work. We just showed up to class, immediately start teaching. No time to use the bathroom. And so my morning routine of just not bothering to use the bathroom, and yes, that means I didn't brush my teeth as a child. We don't need to talk about that. I have changed my ways. And so that was no longer an option. I could no longer just go to the bathroom after I finished my nice little morning bell work. Oh, no, 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 no. Instead, I had to ask the teacher, raise my hand up. There was no raising up your fist. You had to raise your hand, interrupt everybody, and ask, "Can I go to the bathroom, please?" Oh, I hated it. I despised it. It was terrible. But it's fine. I have been making it through. I was living. Until eventually, I don't know exactly when. But I was taking... Well, I didn't like asking to go to the bathroom because Mrs. Smith, she was mean. She was angry. And she always made you feel bad for interrupting everyone. And it's just not a good time. And I'll add in a little extra story here. 2nd grade, year before, we're going back once again. So recess had ended. I was unaware recess had ended. And so there was like a lot of classes out on recess as well. It was a nice day. That doesn't happen here very often. And so recess ended. There was lots of classes out there. There was 2nd graders, 3rd graders, 4th graders, the whole shebang. And my class had left. My class left. And suddenly I was running around the playground looking for anyone who was in my class in my year. And I couldn't see any of them. And so my first reaction was panic. I panicked a lot. So I'm panicking. And I started crying, so I ran underneath one of the playground sets and just started crying and bawling my eyes out. Until eventually a 4th grader found me and was like, What happened? What happened? Are you alright? And it's like, I don't know where my teacher is. And so he was like, okay. And brought me to his teacher, his helper. And she was like, and so this was Mrs. Smith. She was the lady who saved me from getting forgotten about outside by my 2nd grade teacher and all the assistants. And so, you'd think, oh, she must be a really nice lady, because, she helped me out really nice. And all of my 2nd grade teachers felt so bad, just like, oh, because, I had walked in, Mrs. Smith took me in, walked me to my class, and, opened the door, and I was, still kind of crying, teary-eyed, and my teachers were like, oh my god, I can't believe we just did that. And it's very funny to look back on. But, at the time, it was, traumatizing. Oh my goodness. Poor little 2nd grade me, all traumatized from being left outside, and my hero. The next year, I learned, oh, the hero teacher is going to be teaching my class. Surely she will be just as nice and heroic. No. I was scared of her. I was terrified of this woman. And it was not fun at all being in a classroom with this lady all of the time. Mentally scarred. And back to where we began. Why we're here. What originally went down. And that was this lady. We're taking a test, right? And so, you're not allowed to get up during tests. For, the most part, you're allowed to, if it's an emergency, of course, you're allowed to leave and go deal with whatever the fuck. But, it's very frowned upon, and it pisses the teachers off. And I I was a very, very scared child. So, like, I was not about to go fuck around and find out with Mrs. Smith. And it was like 8:30 in the morning or so, maybe 9. I don't remember the exact time, I just know we're taking a test. I don't remember what the test was for. I don't even remember if I finished the test. I don't think it matters. Because all I know was that in my mind I was thinking, I gotta finish this test so I can go to the bathroom and not piss everyone off. Don't mind the pun. Oh my goodness. It's windy today and I just got jump scared by the wind. I'm so sorry. But oh my goodness. I am taking this test and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not gonna make it. This is not going to end well. And I was correct. Because everyone's worst nightmare happened. I felt a warm, terrible feeling running down my leg. And I was horrified. I stopped taking my test. I stared directly at the test, and suddenly I hear from the girl sitting next to me, "Oh my god, she peed. Oh my god, that's so gross." And I felt terrible. Everything was bad. I get sent to the nurse's office, where a call to my parents, a call home is sent, like, "Hey, your daughter peed, just to let you know. She peed her pants." And I'm sitting there like, oh, I was so embarrassed. I don't know how I made it out of this. And it's just so bad. And it's so terrible. And I had such a terrible time. And it was all because I was too scared to ask to go to the bathroom. And eventually, like, I had to get a new pair of pants from whatever, like, I don't even think it was, like, the lost and found. They just had, like, spare pants because kids be pissing, you know. I'm not the only kid who pisses their pants, okay? I'm pretty sure that day I was told by the nurse, like, "Oh yeah, we had someone pee their pants on the bus earlier. You don't have to worry about it. You're fine." And, like, you know, trying to make me I'm pretty sure I was crying again. I was probably crying again because that is not a fun thing to go through. So I'm crying again. And the nurse is trying to comfort me. And eventually I make it back to the class or whatever. And, like, oh, it was not a pretty day. And I just vividly remember being terrified of asking the teacher. And just the fact that the girl next to me was like, "Ew. Oh my god, ew." Cause, like, that was the worst part. Not the fact I had just ruined a pair of pants. It was the fact that, like, socially I am now gross and disgusting. Which, terrible time, let me tell ya. Oh my goodness, terrible, terrible time. But that is, I don't know, is there a moral to the story? I don't know, I mean, afterwards the teacher was like, you should set up a schedule and go to the bathroom before school. And let me tell you, I never used the school bathroom ever again. You think I'm joking? Nope. My new morning routine, wake up, immediately go piss. And then I never used the bathroom again at school. And I am not joking. From the rest of I probably used it a little bit in elementary, but middle school, 6th grade to 12th grade, I did not touch those fucking bathrooms unless I was on my period. And other than that, that was that. I have been humbled. That is my sincere, humbling experience. And I know other people have had those as well. It's bad. Real bad.